I've been in situations where I've been cuddling with people and that felt really great, and then they'll start kissing me and that's okay and a little bit interesting, but not anything I'm crazy about. And then kind of anything more sexual than that just stops making sense to my body.
Sometimes when I like someone, it'll just be gone like that. Like, it doesn't last very long for me.
She was putting some pressure on me to have sex with her, and I remember saying to her, I don't have sex with anybody. I'm not interested in anybody.
I've researched different sexualities before, just out of my own personal curiosity, and I was like, asexual, there's another one. And I started reading about it, and it described me very well.
I've never dated. I've really never seen anyone as sexually attractive. For the most part, if you can't take my word on that, I can't convince you otherwise.
Time now for our Under the Radar segment, which comes to us tonight from San Francisco, California. David J. is a 23-year-old ladies' man who is also a virgin and planning on remaining one. He's not a priest. He doesn't want to become a priest. He just says he's not interested in sex, and apparently he is not alone. They started an online community for asexuals called Asexuality.org. It claims to have more than 6,000 members worldwide. Here to talk about a community under the radar, David J. David, thanks for coming on.
Thanks so much for having me.
Now, how does asexuality differ from celibacy?
Well, celibacy is a choice. Asexual people don't experience sexual attraction. So the way that, for whatever reason, most people in the world feel the need to make sex a big part of their lives, asexual people just don't.
So you don't think about sex?
I don't desire sex. I mean, I see sex in the world around me all the time, so I think about it, I know that it's there.
Yes, but you're aware that the average man has a porno movie on a continuous loop going in his brain at all times, and you don't?
I've been told that, more or less. I have a hard time believing it, but if you say so.
I have Asperger's, and I was in touch with another girl who was autistic, and she had mentioned in her blog that she had a problem with sexual intimacy. And I emailed her and said, oh, thank God, I'm not the only one with this problem. And she said, well, I don't really like intimacy, but I love having sex. Then there's nobody out there like me. Even if you don't like intimacy, you still have to like sex or, you know, something like that. And so I kind of went crying to this older friend of mine, and I said, you know, I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to have sex. I'm 21 years old, and, you know, other people who have autism are having sex, and I can't make myself do it. And she was like, well, you know, maybe sex isn't for you.
I'm relieved that I don't have to perform, because as being a male, there's this stigma of, you know, women have the stigma of having to put out. Men have an opposite but equal stigma of having to perform.
Some studies show that asexual behavior does exist in the animal world. But what about humans? Dr. Anthony Bogart of Brock University in Ontario, Canada, did one of the only studies of human asexuality. As much as 1% of the population may be asexual.
They may still have physiological arousal experiences, vaginal lubrication, erections, but they may not be able to, or may not have any connection of that arousal to men, women, or both.
I think sometimes it's really problematic if somebody's stuffing their sexuality out of shame.
Well, that's repression.
Or if they're, you know, if they had a traumatic sexual experience or breakup, you know, and they're not dealing with it, that people can shut down sexually, and it can be very unhealthy, and you can, you know, spend your whole life
turn into a mass murderer or something,
missing out on a wonderful God-given gift. So you can really, God has given gift.
Dr. Joy Davidson, a certified sex therapist.
Sex is a fabulous, enormously pleasurable aspect of life. And you're saying you don't miss it. It's like someone, in a sense, who's colorblind saying, I don't miss color. Of course you don't miss what you've never had.
If I had a pill that I could give you and to make you sexual, would you want it?
Oh, I would not take a pill to become a sexual person. I'm having way too much fun as an asexual person.
I would not.
The fun thing about being asexual is that there's no clear distinction between like the traditionally romantic relationships and traditionally non-romantic relationships. So like dating, marriage, friendship, whatever. You can distinguish, but you don't have to. And so for me, I just kind of like joke around with those labels.
I have heard him say that my boyfriend is hot.
He is really hot.
You just said that Karina's boyfriend is hot, but you're asexual. I still don't get it. I've known you for years, and I still don't get it.
So I know what hot looks like.
Right.
Right? And I like her boyfriend. And I can, like, I think that people are cool to look like or, like, have a good-looking body, but that doesn't mean that I necessarily want to have sex with them. And it doesn't mean that I'm sexually attracted to them. It can mean that I'm attracted to them, which means that I want to form a relationship with them. Though usually, for me, being attracted to someone has a lot more to do with, like, the relationship I could form with them and how that relationship could make our lives better.
You know, I've definitely been in a situation where you can appreciate someone for being hot and not actually be attracted to them, so that kind of makes sense. But overall, I'm still definitely confused.
I'm too sexy for my car, too sexy for my car, too sexy by far. And I'm too sexy for my...
I've had sex many, many times. I mean, if I were to give you a rough estimate, I'd say probably between 50 and 60 times, and with probably 25 or 30 different people. And for some people, some very sexual people, that's probably a shocker. I don't know. I mean, the fact that I've had that many partners, I think, is surprising to some people. But and I think part of my motivation was that I was looking for breakthrough. And I think that you need to have a way to hook up with other people, to have a sense of identity. And you can't have a community of one. I don't think you can. That's why it's really important for us to have this community that we have with Avon, because it creates that thing that none of us had before.
I shake my little tush on the cat.
Most sexual people, you're either walking down the street and you see someone, or you're in a relationship with someone. At some point, you feel like introducing sexuality into that. That just never happens to asexual people.
And is it a problem?
No, it's not a problem.
So then why do you need to organize?
And there's a lot of things that aren't a problem that you need to organize around. We need to organize, well, partially because it's not getting talked about. Because a lot of it...
If you're not having sex, what's there to talk about? Yeah.